And there it is. We are live with at least where I am, a beautiful Wednesday afternoon now. I don't know about you, Gabby, but it is absolutely awesome day today. I'm so excited to be sprinting with you and with everyone in the chat here. And before I say hello to everyone in the chat, I do need to introduce you to all of our friends here. Hi, everyone. This is Gabby. Gabby is a guest host who will be joining myself and I think some other hosts throughout the next like 6 or 7 weeks for a whole bunch of sprints. And I just get to be the lucky one to kick all that off. So we're very excited. I know, Gabby, you're an author, you're an editor, you're an author coach as well, but I'm going to turn it over to you to give yourself a little introduction as much as you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really happy to be here. This is my first time on Dabble, so I'm really excited to just see how this works and to hear from all of you and what you're all working on. I am a middle grade author, a published middle grade author. My books are there behind me. I write upper middle grade fantasy, but I also write fantasy for those who are young at heart. So I'm working on an adult right now. And I am also a book coach. So I work with authors who write fantasy and also romance, which is my other love, if you will. And it is a gorgeous day here too, Doug.
Excellent. Where are you joining us from? I didn't
I'm in
see that.
Olympia, Washington. So I'm about halfway between Seattle and Portland.
Okay, cool. I'm a little north of Toronto, Ontario.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, a little ways away, but beautiful everywhere. It's just a great day
It's a
today.
good day. Good day to live.
uh, Normally I go through and say hi to everyone in the chat, but this chat has been just going at it. Linda, electrical tictress, got here at 7 in the morning my time, at
Wow.
least. Uh, and I think went away for a little bit, which is probably for the best, but then came back. We have Bon and NJ and Julia and David and Shelly and Aaron and Hope and Christy, and with so many people joining us today. It's awesome to see all of these people here sprinting as I keep scrolling down. And I'm not going to get every name. Ashley's here. Hi, Ashley. Kio's here. Laura. Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Rosalinda, Emily. Sarah's here. Sarah's Worship the Nephilim. Let's see. Oh, and the Jeff. The Jeff is here. Great name. Yeah, so we are on deck for 3 20-minute sprints as per usual. We have a 5-minute break in between. I do have the links to the first sprint down below me, but I'm going to share the link to the very first one in the chat. And Gabby, if you want to join us in wordsprints.org, we have a private chat on the right side of your screen there. I'm going to send you the link there because you can't
Perfect.
click on the comment, unfortunately. And there is, how much time do we have? We have a minute and a half until the first sprint starts. One of the things that I want to talk to you about today, Gabby, is how much work writing a novel is, because I took some time to look over your website and you acknowledge how hard it is, and we all know how hard it is. And we're doing this 60-day novel challenge,
Right.
which Bon in the chat here posted this awesome comment over in our community about how difficult she's finding planning and preparing to write a novel that isn't a memoir that she did last Nano. And I commended her for it. And Bon, I hope you've seen that comment, because I really liked how you were so frank about how difficult it is. But I want to talk about how that's not a bad thing once we
Oh, no.
get back from the first sprint.
Okay, sounds
Um, yeah, awesome. So we have about 50 seconds left. Gabby, what are you working on today?
yeah, so I'm working on a adult fantasy about fate and family relationships and the nature of power and what it means to be human. So like little stuff.
Yeah, just tiny things,
It's
no
really
big deal.
small stuff. Yeah, and to be fair, like writing any book is really, really hard, and it takes a lot of work. And often that first step, that first jump from the plan,
Mhm.
whatever that might look like for you, to the writing part of the book, is such a huge jump, and it's a leap of faith. And I often tell my clients that writing is kind of a lifestyle choice, right? We have to love the process. We have to love the work itself. And when we do that, our work reflects how much we love it. It's kind of an intangible thing that comes through across on the page.
Absolutely. All right. We'll chat more about that in 19 minutes and 50 seconds. Our sprint has started. I'm going to mute myself and I will see you all in about 20 minutes. Bye for now. All right, that is the first sprint of the. Oh, I made a boo boo there. There we go.
You're back.
How was that for you? How was that 20 minutes of sprinting?
Oh, it's so fun. And I always think of writing like swimming. You know, you like drop into this story just like you drop into water, and
Mhm.
sometimes you go pretty deep and it's hard to get back up to the surface. And other times it's freezing and you don't want to go in. you know.
I
Yeah,
love it.
it was I was working on I'm trying to understand my villain for my adult book, trying
Mhm.
to get to know him a little better. And he's resistant. He's giving me a hard time.
That's fair. That's fair. But I love writing villains. And I
Oh,
write very adult stuff. I write like dark fantasy. I'm writing urban fantasy for
I
this
love
challenge
it.
and I just finished the first book. But I tend to go darker and so like villains are like my bread and butter. I love thinking about
It's so much fun
but
to get to know our characters.
yeah, I'm gonna turn to the chat real quick and just celebrate some wins here. Um, Zarintha is Bernadette, I believe. So Bernadette got 290. Awesome. Laura 663. Linda 392. Aaron 116. Rosalinda 380. Sarah 337. Renee 8 London brainstormed. Also very important.
Yes.
David 678. Ashley got 1251 and killed the male main character. I know Ashley's just finishing her book on the last two chapters. So
Well done.
Susan got 2 character profiles done. Chrissy 293. Shelly 306, the Jeff got 638, Hope 379, NJ 295, Brandon 134. Hi, Brandon. Danny, hi, Danny 332, Emily 162, Fenrir 614. Awesome, awesome. Hello. Okay, so, and for anyone looking at the screen while I'm doing it, first, you should really be looking at your own screen, like working while we're doing this. But a lot of the time, I'm brainstorming characters now for
Okay.
this week, or sorry, next week in our 60-day novel challenge. I did some world building too. And so much of my brainstorming is like, note, 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 okay, why? Or what does this mean? Or like a question for later, right? And one
Yeah,
of the things I want to emphasize for folks here is that because we're sprinting, like the whole point is to have momentum for it. It's to not let your brain kind of get snagged and overthink something. So if you're doing the challenge stuff with me, just feel free to leave a question for later, right? Because right now we're just embracing the word vomit, the idea vomit, for
that's
lack of
right.
a better
Yeah,
term.
I like to, if I'm doing a character exploration or trying to figure out my characters, I drop them into a scene. I just put them, like my villain right now, he's at the museum and he's thinking thoughts and interacting with people, and I'm just kind of getting to know him, and lets me build that momentum that you're talking about. So
Awesome.
and I might use the scene and I might not, but at least I get to see him in action.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. I did see that it's Bernadette's birthday. So happy birthday. Take it easy other than this. I see that TW and Abby are here as well. And Carmen. I saw Carmen here before. But what I was saying before, now we only have a minute and a half left. So actually first let me share the link so that folks have it. We'll put that there and there. Okay, so next break, what I want to chat about is how difficult writing can be, but there's so many how do I phrase this without diving too deep into a rabbit hole? So many things compete for our attention these days, and there's like a systemic issue with people focusing for too long. And so one of the things that I love about these sprints and about writing a book is that it forces you to focus. It's like one of the last bastions of hard, deep, focused work that we have outside of like a 9 to 5. And I want to talk about how that's like a good thing, how we should embrace that, because like it's so easy when I'm brainstorming, when I'm writing a book. I was doing some revising this morning. I
Yeah.
can whip out my phone and start watching YouTube shorts or TikTok or Instagram reels or whatever, right? And then like half an hour is gone and I've revised nothing. um but but embracing the hard work, embracing the friction in the that wants us to stop writing but like going through and doing it anyway, it's like one of the most rewarding things in the world. It's so cool.
It is, and I think it really, people talk a lot about how creativity sort of rebuilds your spirit during hard times. And
Mhm.
I feel like, even just those few minutes of that focus can really accomplish that. You can come back out feeling much more like yourself and much more able to interact in the very difficult world that
Yeah.
we're managing right at the moment.
All right, the sprint has started.
All
Happy
right.
sprinting, everybody. We'll be back in about 20 minutes.
Have fun.
All right. That is our second sprint of the day done. Let me pull that off the screen there. How'd that go for you, Gabby?
Oh, that was great. That was great. I feel
Awesome.
like I'm getting somewhere.
Awesome. Awesome. Is anything from the villain getting revealed?
It is, and in part because he's in relationship with some of the other characters now, and that's helping to sort of define more who he is and what he wants.
Awesome.
And what they want, that's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna turn to the chat here real quick. I saw Beacon came in. Hello, Beacon, and Stephanie is in here with us asking if that was the second sprint. It is the second sprint. We have one more for today, so let me grab the link for that before I forget. Drop it in the chat there. As always, it is down below me in the description, so you can grab it from there. But the chat's nice and easy, so, and we have a lot of wins going on here. Ashley got 825, Linda 441, Renee 45 words and 2 pages edited. Bernadette got 209, had to take a phone call, a birthday phone call, I hope, saying happy birthday. Shelly got 406, Brandon 166, Hope 455, and he discovered bullet points. 441, 29 for Rosalinda, 296 for Danny, another page and a half for Carmen, 618 for Laura, 635 for the Jeff, and another character interview started. Awesome. David 779. David, are you still typing on your phone? Are we doing that this challenge? Or are you taking it easy on yourself? Yeah, he did the whole 60-day challenge last year on his phone. It was
Oh, that's
wild.
amazing. You know who wrote a book on his phone and published it several
Oh,
several times, I believe, is Jeff Sentner. Um,
okay.
yeah, he loves to write on his phone. I think he just get to sort of add to it as you go, literally in the world.
Yeah, yeah. Michael Laron, we've had him on the show a couple times, does a lot on his phone or a lot of dictating while he's like doing dishes and whatnot. Like always getting words in there whenever possible to make
Yeah,
that progress.
yeah. I don't know if I could do that.
It's tough. It takes practice.
Or
It's not easy. Chrissy has to go, but thanks for joining us. And Stephanie brainstormed the first one, but her husband's dog ran off. He missed the second one. Well, I'm glad you could join us in this one. Okay, Gabby, if someone is having a hard time in their story, let's say we're at the planning phase, because that's where we are in the 60-day
right.
challenge, and someone is like, this is just a heck of a lot of hard work. As an author coach, what's some advice you would give them? I know it's hard when you don't know the specifics, but
Yeah, right. I mean, I think when we get stuck with planning, we can do a couple of different things. We can ask ourselves a whole lot of questions about what the character wants, what they need. I love to juxtapose those, and a lot of people recommend that, that what they want and what they need are two different things and in opposition to one another. I also think it's a really good idea to try and think about sort of the origin of that want, like why do they want that? Often that comes from some kind of traumatic experience in their life, and sort of exploring that and giving yourself permission to step away from the story for just a second, from the planning of the story, to get a little more in depth into your main character's head, can really then help drive the plot. And that's what you want. You want the two to play together, the internal arc and the external arc. And that's a good way to do it. So if one is giving you a hard time, you can step over into the other.
I really like that. I know people who have been to a lot of my workshops and a lot of my shows, they know I love backstory. It's
Mhm.
like I used to think I had a great grasp on writing, and then I learned more and more about backstory, and I call it the big hurt, but like the ghost or the shard of glass or whatever you want to call that traumatic event and the lie that comes from it. Like
Mhm.
when I started piecing that together and leveraging the internal conflict combined with the external conflict,
Right.
completely revolutionized how I write, like
Yeah,
completely changed it.
and they feed each other, right?
Yeah.
So that's just super important. And I think it's important to remember too that it's it when you're planning something, and even when you start writing something, don't get too hung up on how fast it's moving, right?
Mhm.
Like sometimes just taking a step back and really thinking through that the needs of the character can then propel you forward much quicker once you sort of get to that place of
Mm.
understanding them.
Absolutely. All right, we have another sprint. We can chat more about this afterwards, but before I hop into my sprint, the Jeff asked, what do we do with our sprints? So I copy and paste all my sprints between them, and at the end, I copy them and plop them into Dabble and then organize it from there. But you can paste into whatever you're using. Of course, Dabble's the best writing app out there, and we are offering a free extended trial for anyone participating in the 60-day novel challenge. But yeah, you just go to it. I hit Control A to copy it all. This is our current sprint. Command A, I think, is the Apple version, and then copy it and then paste it into a note in Dabble, and then I just organize from there. So if you're just writing if you're all writing in one chapter, you can just paste it into a chapter. But I've been yapping long enough. It's time to write. We'll see everyone in 19 minutes now. All right, that is our third and final sprint
Yes.
of the day
Well
finished.
done, everyone.
Yeah, great job, everyone. To the point we were talking about before about how there's so many distractions and how it's so easy to have your attention diverted elsewhere. 3 20-minute sessions of just deep focused work without looking at distractions, without, looking at your phone or scrolling through things, without doing anything else. It's not easy, right? And I think people should definitely commend themselves for that. Um, quick question here from Shelly. I accidentally closed my browser. Is there any way I can get what I wrote in the third sprint back? If you, I'll grab the link here, but it's the third link down below me. Okay, so I can't, oh, it should be this one, actually. I'll post that in the chat. You should be able to click there. The sprints save locally on your device for 24 hours. So if you do close the window, if you shut down your computer and forget that you didn't copy and paste it over, then you can head back to the same link and they should be there waiting for you. To that end, I always forget to say this. To copy and paste your stuff out of wordsprints.org if you sprinted alongside me there, please. Don't lose them, even though you do have 24 hours. Like, just do it now. Do it now while we're talking.
And also remember that all of your words, whether you end up using them in your book or not, in your story, they all go towards building your understanding of your plot and your character. I once deleted an entire book by accident.
Oh no.
Yes, this was in the early way back years, right? And when we weren't as adept at keeping copies in various places, and I rewrote the book, and I will tell you that it was a much better book the second time because
Yeah.
of what I learned the first time. So it's kind of like what you were talking about with backstory. It's a really important piece of the work of building a novel, but it also doesn't all have to be in there. It shouldn't all be in there.
Mhm.
So don't let your heart break if you lose words from a day. You can rebuild, and it will be better.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And if you are joining us in the 60-day novel challenge, don't feel like you need to get everything done all at once. We've set up this curriculum of stuff so that the first month is planning and it all builds on one another. So this first week, even though I've jumped ahead a little bit because I cheated last week and started week 1 and now we're in the technical week 1 and I'm working on next week's stuff. You don't need to be like me. This is week 1. Start with the big picture stuff. We're doing high level brainstorming. We're thinking about what kind of conflicts we want to include. We're thinking about what our major beats could be, but
Mm.
don't get so overwhelmed by the thought of plotting if you're new to it that you think you need to get everything done this first week. There's a reason we're doing this in steps. There's a reason we're doing it in, week by week, section by section. Everything builds on one another. And in our coming weeks, as you build, one of the defined steps in the process is consolidating all of this information that you have. So don't let it stress you out. It's a process. It's just you just build. You just
Yeah,
do it.
it's a living effort, and you may very likely find that you have to reassess your plan as you're writing and sort of make changes because you'll learn as you write, as well, not just about the plot, but about what the characters are willing to do.
Absolutely. I do need to point out some great messages here from Bond. Thank goodness y'all have planned it out. I'd never be able to do this without us. So thank you. You're using the plot grid and it's so helpful. And NJ's using all the Dabble stuff for your students too. So that fills me with a lot of joy. Um, Gabby, I know you're going to be joining me and some of my other hosts here at Dabble for some sprints in the future, but do you want to give a last minute, hey, this is what you do and where people can find you
Oh,
before we
absolutely.
sign off?
Yeah. So again, I am a book coach and I help authors primarily who write fantasy or romance. But if you are interested in working with me, you can reach out and we can look at what you're working on. You can find me at gkburnbooks.com, and GK Burn is Byrne, gkburnbooks.com. And I'd love to hear more about what you're working on. Reach out anytime. I also have, if you sign up for just sort of my updates, which don't come too frequently, I have a little world building exercise that I like to share with a lot of my authors to kind of help get the juices flowing and find a way to do that really complex work in a less intimidating way.
I love that. I'm a sucker for world building. I absolutely
Same.
adore World
Same.
building.
Yep.
Okay, that's what we'll talk about next time. So, and just before we sign off, I do where was the message I was looking for? I just saw it. Yeah, Bond saying here, tomorrow we have a really cool live stream. So tomorrow we have the normal writing sprints at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Hank will be hosting tomorrow as he does on Thursday, but then at 2 p.m. Eastern, so 24 hours and 10 minutes from now, we have our first 60-day novel challenge live stream where we're going to discuss the work that we're doing this week. We're going to discuss our own progress on it. We're going to answer whatever questions you might have. It's just a very casual live stream where you build each other up and make sure everyone's on track.
That sounds
So I'm very excited. Oh, this challenge. This is our second year doing the challenge, and I am just thrilled. It is such a good time. There's so many good vibes out there of everyone coming together, especially with Nano not being a
great.
thing anymore.
Hmm.
It's cool to have this kind of community. And if you haven't joined the 60-day novel challenge yet, I'm going to shamelessly plug this and then I'll let everybody go. But you can join it over at Dabble U Campus, our community for dabblers and non-dabblers alike. I'll drop a link for that in the chat. So far, we have just about 1,600 people participating in the challenge this year, which is exciting, very
Yeah,
exciting. And I appreciate everybody being here for that. Gabby, I appreciate you co-hosting with
my
me
pleasure.
today.
Yeah, this has been really fun, and I got some good
Awesome.
work done. So I hope everybody else did too. Feels good about what they worked on.
Excellent. All right. And I guess we'll see everybody tomorrow. Bye for now, everyone.